we're diving into everything known so far about Black Ops 6 Zombies DLC 4. Sadly, we know with Season 4 fast approaching, DLC 4 is not part of that season, and we likely won't see DLC 4 until Season 5 in July. So whilst we wait for the next 2 months, let's go over everything that's leaked so far, including new wonder weapons, new perks, new gobblegums, new ammo mods, story, and so much more. So be sure to watch the video through to the end to not miss anything. And if you're excited at the next DLC map, you're ready for it, let me know down below and click that thumbs up button. Starting with official details, we know at the end of Shattered Vale, the next map we're going to is Janus Towers. We see our crew walk towards the towers from Shattered Vale, and we've been able to see Janus Towers from Liberty Falls since the launch of the game. Not only that, but on the Terminus map, there is a screen showing the location of all Project Janus facilities, and that includes references to Janus Towers. During Shattered Vale's main quest, we learn about the purpose of the different Janus facilities. As of right now, housed within the Janus Towers facility is several ether reactors which were close to melting down. We know from the ending cutscene as well as intels that several characters are going to play major roles in this map. The first being SAM's plan is not to bring Maxis back from the Dark Ether, but to inhabit her body, which Richtofen described would give her god-like powers, seemingly able to control both the Dark Ether and the current world as we know it. Right before the Shattered Vale's boss fight, we learn that SAM betrayed the crew, ordering them to go around collecting the pieces to create the Sentinel artifact just for the crew to hand it over to SAM, who then disappears, assuming that she's going to reappear at the Janus Towers facility and activate the Sentinel artifact. Another major character to appear in Janus Towers is going to be Pericles Panos. This is the Project Janus scientist that we saved during the Liberty Falls main quest, who was temporarily trapped within the Dark Ether, but we learned through intel in Shattered Vale that Panos is being contacted by a mystery entity from within the Dark Ether, who at first haunted him in his dreams, addressing him by name in a hypnotic, confident tone, saying, "I could teach you so much, Pericles, but you're gonna have to want it. You're going to have to burn for it with all your body and soul." And then another intel details this person as his friend, his salvation, and a real master of the Dark Ether, who is now working as his agent. There is quite a bit of evidence to suggest that this could be the Shadow Man, if not a new entity called the Shadow Smith. And I dived into a full video explaining all of this that you can check as a card in the top right of your screen, but I'll remind you to watch that video at the end of this one. But either way, this should be a massive, massive reveal when it happens. And in another intel, we learned that John Blanchard is also going to be very important in this map, who's going to be chasing Panos directly to Janus Towers, as he saw on motion activated cameras seeing Panos arriving at the towers right before the power shorted, describing that outside no longer looks like planet Earth, with the air being almost corrosive and the area being a boiling pot of chaos, and Panos now seems possessed and part of the chaos. Now we've gone over the basic story, let's now shift our focus to what we can expect gameplay-wise in this map. Starting off with the upcoming Wonder Weapon, as according to @RealityUK on Twitter, the code name for this Wonder Weapon was added to the files with Shattered Vale, the code name being T10_PI_P19_JadeWW. Now that might just sound like a random combination of letters, but it confirms that codename of the next map is ZM_JadeWW, referring to Wonder Weapon, but the PI refers to pistol, confirming at the very least that this Wonder Weapon is going to be a pistol Wonder Weapon. Beyond this leaked codename, there is zero specific details on what this Wonder Weapon could be, but the speculation so far is that this is going to be the return of a Cold War Zombies Wonder Weapon, being the Cerberus. Conversion-ready binary repeater standard is a pistol Wonder Weapon that we saw in Mauer de Toten. Cerberus is Requiem's first take on an experimental wonder weapon. In its base form, the wonder weapon could be shot as a pistol that had a floating sphere around it, which whenever the weapon was fired, this copycat sphere module would fire an additional shot, making this an extremely fast and powerful wonder weapon. But what made this weapon unique is it could be modified into 3 other weapons: the Diffuser, the Blazer, and the Swarm. These were all via mod kits that would drop from zombies, transforming the weapon into an assault rifle, a shotgun, or a handheld cannon. Now, there is every chance the Cerberus isn't the wonder weapon on this map. However, most believe this to be the case due to the fact that we see the Cerberus in the Modern Warfare 3 Zombies reveal cutscene, where it is sat on a shelf next to the Requiem members who sacrificed themselves a few years after the events of Black Ops 6 Zombies, meaning at one point or another, they came across this wonder weapon again and used it at some point. And another feature of the wonder weapon that made it very unique and could potentially fall into the storyline is that this weapon has a artificial artificial intelligence based on Gray, Carver, and Strauss. And we just so happen to have an AI as one of the main villains of Black Ops 6 Zombies, being SAM. Some other wonder weapon ideas I've seen thrown about is Alistair's Folly from Dead of the Night, which was also a wonder weapon pistol and was incredibly underrated. And with Chaos now being part of the Dark Eva story, it'd be awesome to tie it back in and have it back. But at the same time, this wonder weapon could be entirely new, something that we have never seen before, but we're just gonna have to wait and see. Moving on to the upcoming perk and ammo mod coming to Black Ops 6 Zombies with DLC 4, according to Reality UK, the next perk that we're going to be getting is the return of Tombstone Soda, which according to leakers has been within the game's code since the release of the game. If you're unaware of Tombstone Soda, it's a perk that originated in Black Ops 2, but we also saw it in Cold War and Modern Warfare 3, where in round base, if you go down, you are turned into a shadow in the Dark Ether armed with your weapons, allowing you to revive your own downed body, similar to the perk Who's Who. There were some additional benefits to this perk when upgraded in Cold War, and these upgrades could transfer over to Black Ops 6 and the augments, such as the shadow form being able to regenerate health, increasing the down duration to 60 seconds. When you bleed out, you'll drop a tombstone stash that saves weapon, equipment, and resources for the next round. Another where you'll respawn near the end of the current round instead of at the beginning of the next round. And finally, an upgrade where you could prevent perk decay whilst down. I'd like to know what your thoughts are in the comments about Tombstone Soda returning, as I don't think it's the most popular perk and not necessarily one that is needed in Black Ops 6. But with the biblical W that we got with the return of Double Tap, Treyarch can't always have amazing perks back to back to back. But it would be nice to see a different perk return instead of Tombstone. And there is a chance that it could be a different perk, because shared all the way back in November of 2024 was a list of DLC perks, which included Tombstone, but also includes another perk that we still haven't seen yet, which is in the code labeled as M_mod, which is very likely to mean Mule Kick. Last time we saw Mule Kick was in Black Ops Cold War, and very similarly to what we saw with the Double Tap machine, had one of the biggest glow ups ever, and was able to have 5 additional benefits via the raw Ethereum crystal upgrades, which could carry over into augments, which included if you went down and lost your Mule Kick weapon, that weapon would be recovered when you rebuy the perk, as well as a super overpowered 25% chance to keep non-retrievable equipment when used. And imagine that combined with Vulture Raid, you will have so many Casimir grenades at your disposal if this stays in the game, which was amazing. Another upgrade was stowed weapons slowly refill ammo from stock, including wonder weapons, as well as enemies having a small chance to drop ammo, and crafted equipment granted an additional equipment if able, saving you a ton of salvage. And I think this perk and its upgrades definitely have a place within Black Ops 6 Zombies as opposed to Tombstone, but we'll just have to see what perk they decide to go with for DLC 4. Let me know what perk you'd like to see return down below. And since both exist within the game's code, it might be a case of we'll see one perk before the other, but it's likely that we'll see both before the end of the game cycle. As for the ammo mod, up until the reveal of Season 4, it was leaked during Season 3 by Reality UK that the Shatterblast ammo mod would be coming. But now we know that ammo mod is coming with Season 4, it throws everything up in the air on what exactly we could see as the ammo mod for Season 5, as currently there is nothing else within the game files to suggest any other ammo mods coming. That will very likely change when Season 4 actually drops, but as for now, every ammo mod seen in Black Ops Cold War and Modern Warfare 3 have returned, and the only remaining ammo mods not seen before were last seen in Black Ops 3, which were Fireworks and Thunderwall. Could we see these return? Possibly. Could we also see something brand new? Also possible as well. For new Gobblegums, we can expect at least 2 new Gobblegums, as currently the unreleased Gobblegum list includes Power Vacuum as an epic, as well as a Gobblegum called Absolutely Over There, which is also an epic. Power Vacuum allows a ton more drops to spawn for 3 to 4 rounds and was crazy overpowered back in Black Ops 3 Zombies, whilst Absolutely Over There is a completely brand new Gobblegum and we aren't sure what it does, but from the sounds of it, there is a chance that you could teleport to any pinged location on the map, although we'll just have to wait and see. But let's also not forget that all the way back in August of last year, it was confirmed in the COD pod where I managed to get the answer from Kevin Drew that Shopping Free is going to be a returning Gobblegum at some point. We already know exactly what Gobblegums we're getting in Season 4, so we might not see Shopping Free till the earliest of Season 5. And with each season, Treyarch hasn't given us a ton of new Gobblegums, but all the way back in the Bubblegum Mania event in December of 2024, the background screen for the event showed several other bubblegums that we've yet to see in the game, such as Aftertaste, Fear in Headlights, and Head Drama. Aftertaste allows you to keep your perks if downed for 3 rounds. Fear in Headlights allows all seen zombies to not move for 2 minutes, and Head Drama where all shots deal critical damage, which lasts for 2 rounds. If we don't see any of these in the next season along with DLC 4, I will be very surprised. Now we've spoken about everything that we know so far from rumors and leaks, let's now talk about what we aren't so sure on, and it's the actual gameplay mechanics of this map, because with the name of it being Janus Towers, it mentions that there will be several towers that we'll be exploring, and with the idea of towers, it does add the idea of verticality to the gameplay that could be similar to what we saw in gameplay terms to the map Die-Rise from Black Ops 2, which was set in multiple skyscrapers with varying verticality. Now in the final scene in the Shattered Veils end cutscene, we can see multiple of those towers in the distance, kind of giving us a hint that we might be able to explore several of the towers. Now it's not explicitly mentioned in coding or from any rumors, but a really cool speculation that the community has is that we might have the potential of a grapple hook gameplay mechanic in order to traverse around the different towers. And it wouldn't be too far out of the scope of reality for it to be the case, because it already exists within the campaign of Black Ops 6. And what's crazy is that it's only used for maybe 30 seconds of gameplay throughout that Black Ops 6 mission, making it fairly underused in the grand scheme. And with the detail of the animation when picked up, the actual blackboard showing a grappling hook prototype where there's all sorts of different pieces that make up the hook, it feels very Zombies-esque, and it would be very cool if this was implemented in Zombies. It would be a very unique element of the map. We could see the return of a function like the elevator shafts from Die-Rise, but with these towers being on fire, to me it just makes sense that a lot of the main mechanics of these towers won't be functioning properly, and so what better to traverse to higher points than a grappling hook? It could be amazing. In terms of new enemy types, it's rumored that there are going to be 2, and we don't know for sure if it's going to be in Janus Towers, but it's coding for some special enemies that have been in the game since launch, really, and we haven't seen them yet, and that is the return of the classic Hellhounds as the special rounds. And I would like to think that Treyarch would continue what they did with Shattered Veil to offer a different special round than what we have seen so far, being just vermin and parasites, but the special enemy remains a little bit of a mystery, because in the game's code there is only one more special enemy that exists, which is known only as Mecha Klaus. Now, for a little while, we were interpreting this as potentially a upgraded version of Klaus the robot that we originally saw in Mao de Toten. He exists as an operator in the game. Surely he's going to make his way into Zombies at some point, and it would be via this special enemy, which would make sense with this wording Mecha Klaus. But more recent interpretation is that this could be the return of the Cransy Soldat that we saw during Black Ops Cold War, and it would make sense. It's an enemy that we haven't seen yet, and we've seen a bunch of returning enemies so far from Cold War. This is really the only one we haven't seen yet, and it would make sense and round up the package of enemies overall in the game. And I personally wouldn't be too upset seeing this thing return if they sort of evolved it in a little bit of a different way, like we saw with the return of the Disciples, but changed in just the right way that it really fits Shattered Veil. I think that would be great. Based on official details and the leaks, it sounds like it's shaping up to be an awesome Zombies DLC 4. However, the wait for this map is going to be a long one. Season 5 could potentially start on July 17th, which would mean the gap between the release of Shattered Veil and the final DLC 4 map would be 106 days, which is over 3 months. Until this point, there's been a lot of discussion about a potential 5th DLC map coming to the game, which could happen for Season 6, but with the final seasons usually always being a Halloween themed season, it seems unlikely that a final map would drop then, when the upcoming Call of Duty 2025 game, rumored to have another year of round-based zombies, would drop within weeks of that season. So Janus Towers could be our final DLC map that we won't get until mid-July, but with the Season 4 and Season 4 Reloaded update, we're likely to at least get some more leaked information that people will find within the code of what could be on deck for DLC 4 and when it will release. So let me know all your thoughts about DLC 4 in the comment section down below. If you're excited by what we've discussed, if you have any ideas, thoughts and theories on the Wonder Weapon, the Gobblegums, the perks, what you want to see, if you think it's the final map, and also your thoughts on waiting until July for it.